Good afternoon, baseball fans, or good morning if you're still out west. Big Al here on this Monday, August 7th, 2023. And this is the time of week where we'll look at the MLB standings and playoff races. Plus, we'll recap Sunday's scores in baseball and a look at today's schedule for this Monday. All right. So if you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. That being said, let's jump right into the Sunday recap in Major League Baseball. Beginning with the Chicago White Sox beating the Cleveland Guardians 5-3. Peralta is the winning pitcher for the White Sox, 1-0. Clase is the losing pitcher for Cleveland, 1-6. Ouch. Lambert would save number 1 for the Southsiders. It was the Astros 9 and the Yankees 7. J.P. Francis, the winning pitcher for Houston, he's 8-3. Peralta takes the loss for the Yankees 3-2. Abreu with his 4th save. It was the Orioles shutting out the Mets 2-0. Perez wins for Baltimore. He's 4-1. Quintana takes the loss for New York 0-3. Bautista with his 30th save. The Blue Jays hammer the Red Sox 13-1. Bassett is the winning pitcher for Toronto, 11-6. Murphy takes the loss for Boston, 1-1. The Phillies double up the Royals 8-4. Taijuan Walker wins. He's now 13-4 for Philadelphia. Zach Greinke takes the loss for Kansas City. He's now 1-12. It was the Rays over the Tigers, 10-6. Pochi wins for Tampa Bay. He's 9-3. Manning takes the loss for Detroit, 3-4. Nationals finish off a sweep of the Reds in Cincinnati, winning 6-3. Machado wins for Washington. He's 3-0. Richardson takes the loss for the Reds. He's 0-1. Finnegan, his 17th save. Pirates take down the Brewers 4-1. Oviedo wins for Pittsburgh 6-11. Woodruff takes the loss for Milwaukee. He's 1-1. It was the Twins over the Diamondbacks 5-3. Thielbar wins for Minnesota. He's 2-1. Sewell is the losing pitcher for Arizona. His record drops to 3-2. Rockies shut out the Cardinals 1-0. Gomber wins for Colorado 9-8. Thompson takes the loss for St. Louis 2-4. Lawrence with his 9th save. The Cubs took down the Braves 6-4. In fact, Chicago wins the weekend set with Atlanta 2-1. Steele takes the win for Chicago. He's 13-3. Charlie Morton loses for Atlanta. He's now 10-10. Alzole with his 14th save. Rangers blink the Marlins 6-0. Haney takes the win for Texas 9-6. Alcantara is the losing pitcher for Miami. His record falls to 4-10. It was the A's over the Giants 8-6. Snead is the winning pitcher for Oakland 1-0. Jackson is the loser for San Francisco 1-1. And May gets his 11th save. In 10, it was the Mariners edging out the Angels 3-2. Saucedo wins for Seattle 3-1. Barria loses for the Angels. He's now 2-6. And in the Sunday night game, it was the Dodgers hammering the Padres 8-2. Lance Lynn, the newest Dodger, wins for LA. He's 8-9. Hill takes the loss for San Diego, and his record falls to 7-11. Now let's take a look at the Major League Baseball standings and the playoff races through August 6th, starting off in the American League East, where the Baltimore Orioles sit atop the division at 70-42, 8-2 record in their last 10 games, including 4 straight wins. In second place, you have the Tampa Bay Rays, 68-46, 3 games behind Baltimore, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including a win in their last game. Third place is the Toronto Blue Jays, 63-50, 7.5 games out behind the Orioles, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including 3 straight wins. In fourth place, the New York Yankees, 58-54, 12 games behind the O's, 4-6 in their last 10, including a loss in their most recent game. And in last place, once again, the Boston Red Sox, 57-54, 12.5 games behind Baltimore, 3-7 in their last 10 games, including 4 straight losses. All right, the Minnesota Twins have a little more of a comfortable lead in the American League Central at 59-54, 5-5 in their last 10 games, including 4 straight wins. In second place are the Cleveland Guardians, 54-58, 4.5 games behind Minnesota, 3-7 in their last 10, including 2 straight losses. The Detroit Tigers remain in third place at 49-62, 9 games behind Minnesota, 3-7 in their last 10 games, including a loss in their last game. Fourth place are the Chicago White Sox at 45-68, 14 games behind the Twins, 4-6 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight wins. And in last place, the Kansas City Royals, 36-77, 23 games behind Minnesota, 7-3 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight losses. Jumping over to the American League West, you have the Texas Rangers at 66-46, leading this division, 7-3 in their last 10 games, including 6 straight wins. Sitting in second place are the Houston Astros at 64-49, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including a win in their most recent game, and they trailed the Rangers by 2.5. Third place are the Seattle Mariners, 60-52, 6 games behind Texas, 8-2 in their last 10 games, including 5 straight wins. In fourth place are the suddenly ice-cold Los Angeles Angels, 56-57, 10.5 games out behind the Rangers, 2-8 in their last 10 games, including 6 straight losses. And sitting in last place, the Oakland A's with the worst record in baseball at 32-80, 34 games behind Texas, 4-6 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight wins, both coming against the Giants. In the National League East, the Atlanta Braves still have baseball's best record at 70-39, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight losses. In second place, and albeit a rather distant second place, are the Philadelphia Phillies, 61-51, 10.5 games behind Atlanta, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight wins. The next 2 teams are a little bit cold. The third place Miami Marlins are 58-55, 14 behind the Braves, 3-7 in their last 10, including 4 straight losses. In fourth place, you've got the New York Mets at 50-61, 21 games behind Atlanta, 3-7 in their last 10, including 6 straight losses. And in last place are the Washington Nationals at 49-63, 22.5 games out of first place, 6-4 in their last 10 games, including 4 straight wins, and that includes their 3-game sweep of the Reds in Cincinnati this weekend. Speaking of Cincinnati, we move ahead to the National League Central, now led by the Milwaukee Brewers, 60-53, 3-7 in their last 10 games, including a loss in their last game. Second place are the Cincinnati Reds at 59-55, 3-7 in their last 10 games, including 6 straight losses. Tied with them virtually for second place are the Chicago Cubs at 58-54, 7-3 in their last 10 games, including 2 straight wins, and both sit 1.5 games behind the Brewers for first place in the NL Central. In fourth place are the Pittsburgh Pirates, 50-61, 9 games out behind Milwaukee, 6-4 in their last 10, including a win in their last game. Fifth place are the St. Louis Cardinals, 49-64, 11 games out behind the Brewers, 3-7 in their last 10 games, including a loss in their most recent game. And over in the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers have a bit of a comfortable lead at the top of this division at 64-46. 6-4 record in their last 10 games, including a win in their most recent game. In second place are the San Francisco Giants, 61-51, 4 games out behind the Dodgers, 6-4 in their last 10, including 2 straight losses. Speaking of ice cold teams, that describes the third place Arizona Diamondbacks, now just a game above 500 at 57-56. They have fallen 8.5 games out behind LA. And then I mentioned they're cold, 2-8 in their last 10 games, including 6 straight losses. So things are starting to go downhill for the Arizona Diamondbacks. In fourth place and playing much better, the San Diego Padres, 55-57, 10 games behind the Dodgers, 6-4 in their last 10, including a loss in their most recent game. And sitting in last place are the Colorado Rockies with the worst record in the National League at 44-67, 20.5 games behind LA, 4-6 in their last 10, including a win in their most recent game. All right, now we're going to the playoff picture through August 6th. So right now, Baltimore at 70-42, leaders of the AL East. They would be the top overall seed. Texas leading the AL West, rather, at 66-46 would be the number 2 seed. And Minnesota, the leaders of the AL Central, at 59-54, they would be your number 3 seed at the present time. As far as the American League wildcard picture, the Tampa Bay Rays are the number 1 wildcard at 68-46. The number 2 wildcard presently belongs to the Houston Astros at 64-49. And the Toronto Blue Jays currently have that third and final wild card spot at 63-50. The red hot Seattle Mariners at 60-52, 8-2 in their last 10 games, and a 5-game winning streak has jumped to within 2.5 games of Toronto for that last playoff spot. The New York Yankees are 4.5 games behind at 58-54. Boston is at 57-54, 5 games out behind Toronto. The Angels have free fallen to 7 games out of the wild card at 56-57. Cleveland is at 54-58, 8.5 games out. Then you've got the Detroit Tigers at 49-62, 13 games out. The Chicago White Sox, 45-68, 18 games out. Kansas City Royals, 35-77, 27 games out. And the Oakland A's at 32-80 sit 30.5 games out of first. All right. Over to the National League playoff picture. Based on records, the top seed in the National League would be the Atlanta Braves at 70-39. The number 2 seed is the Los Angeles Dodgers at 64-46. And the number 3 seed presently is the Milwaukee Brewers at 60-53, but they have some company behind them in the NL Central. Those would be your division leaders. Over in the wild card picture, both the Philadelphia Phillies and San Francisco Giants hold down the top two wildcard spots, and both teams sit with matching 61 and 51 records. And then you have a virtual tie for the third wild card spot in the National League, shared with the Chicago Cubs and Cincinnati Reds, down in that order. Cincinnati is 59 and 55. The Cubs are 58 and 54. The Miami Marlins, not too far out of it, at 58 and 55, just a half game out. The Arizona Diamondbacks, who have been free falling, sitting at 57 and 56, only a game and a half out. Then you've got the San Diego Padres at 55 and 57, 3 games out. Both the New York Mets and Pittsburgh Pirates sit with the same record, 50 and 61, and both are 7.5 games out of that third wildcard spot. The Washington Nationals are at 49 and 63. They are 9 games out. The St. Louis Cardinals, 49 and 64, 9.5 games out. And the Colorado Rockies at 44 and 67 sit 13.5 games out. And that's a look at the standings and the playoff races in Major League Baseball through August 6th. Now, let's jump ahead to today's Major League schedule. Tonight, we have 12 games on the schedule, and one of those games begin in less than an hour. I take that back, not less than an hour. It's a early afternoon game in San Diego between the 55 and 57 San Diego Padres and the 64 and 46 Los Angeles Dodgers. Right-hander Tony Gonsolin is the starting pitcher for LA, 6-4 and a 4.11 ERA. Seth Lugo is the starter for San Diego. He's also a right-hander, 4-5 record, 3.54 ERA. First pitch is at 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time from Petco Park in San Diego. This game will be televised on the San Diego Padres television network, Sportsnet Los Angeles, and on the MLB network. All right. And then the rest of the schedule is at night, with 3 games starting at 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time. The first is the 59 and 54 Minnesota Twins at the 49 and 62 Detroit Tigers. Pablo Lopez, right-hander, is the starter for Minnesota. 6-6, 4.01 ERA. He will be opposed by Detroit lefty Joey Wentz. 2-9 record, 6.37 ERA. First pitch is at 6:40 Eastern Time from Comerica Park in Detroit. And this game will be televised on Bally Sports North and Bally Sports Detroit. The second 6:40 game is the 58 and 55 Miami Marlins and the 59 and 55 Cincinnati Reds. Both right in the thick of things in the National League wildcard picture. Cincinnati is also in the running for the NL Central title. Yuri Perez is the starter for Miami. The right-hander is 5-3 with a 2.36 ERA. His mound opponent will be Cincinnati left-hander Brandon Williamson, 3-2 and a 4.85 ERA. First pitch is 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. This game will be televised by Bally Sports Florida and Bally Sports Ohio. And in the last of the 6:40 games tonight, has the 49-63 Washington Nationals going up against the 61-51 Philadelphia Phillies. Starting pitcher for Washington is right-hander Trevor Williams, 5-6 record, 4.72 ERA. Mound opponent is Philadelphia lefty Ranger Suarez, 2-5 and a 4.01 ERA. First pitch is 6:40 Eastern Time from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. This game will be televised by the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, or MASN, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Moving on to our next game, that's the 70-39 Atlanta Braves at the 50-61 Pittsburgh Pirates. Spencer Strider, the strikeout king in Major League Baseball, 208 Ks entering tonight. He will take the ball for Atlanta. The right-hander is 12-3 with a 3.61 ERA. Pittsburgh counters with a right-hander of their own, Osvaldo Bido, 2-2 record, 5.18 ERA. First pitch is 7:05 p.m. Eastern from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, and this game will be televised by Bally Sports South and AT&T Sportsnet Pittsburgh. And then you have three games getting underway 5 minutes after, starting off with the 63-50 Toronto Blue Jays and the 54-58 Cleveland Guardians. Hung Jin Ryu is the starting pitcher for Toronto. The left-hander is 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA. He'll be opposed by Cleveland right-hander Gavin Williams, 1-3, 3.38 ERA. First pitch is at 7:10 Eastern Time from Progressive Field in Cleveland. This game will be televised by Bally Sports Great Lakes, Rogers Sportsnet, and the MLB network in some areas. Also at 7:10 Eastern Time, you've got the 36-77 Kansas City Royals going up against the 57-54 Boston Red Sox. Cole Ragans is the starting pitcher for Kansas City. The left-hander is 3-3 with a 4.33 ERA. Starting pitcher for Boston is right-hander Brian Bello, 8-6, 3.79 ERA. First pitch is 7:10 Eastern Time from Fenway Park in Boston. This game will be televised by Bally Sports Kansas City and the New England Sports Network, otherwise known as NESN. The next game at 7:10 Eastern Time is the 58-54 Chicago Cubs, who have been playing lights out recently, going up against the 50-61 New York Mets. Drew Smyly is the projected starter for Chicago. The Cubs left-hander is 8-7 with a 4.71 ERA. His mound opponent will be New York right-hander Kodai Senga, 7-6, 3.25 ERA. First pitch is tonight at 7:10 Eastern Time from Citi Field in Flushing, Queens, New York. This game will be televised on the Marquee Sports Network and SNY, and will be nationally televised in most areas on the MLB network. And an hour later, at 8:10 Eastern Time, one of two games starting at this time, you've got the 58-54 New York Yankees at the 45-68 Chicago White Sox. Garrett Cole is the starting pitcher for the New York Yankees. The right-hander is 10-2 with a 2.64 ERA. He'll be countered by the Chicago White Sox will counter with a right-hander of their own, Dylan Cease. 4-5 record, 4.61 ERA. First pitch is at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time from Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. And this game will be televised by the Yes Network and NBC Sports Chicago. A couple hours up, I-94, also starting at 8:10 Eastern Time, is the 44-67 Colorado Rockies and the 60-53 Milwaukee Brewers. And the pitching matchup is righty versus righty. Peter Lambert is the starter for Colorado, 2-2 record, 5.07 ERA. Freddie Peralta is the starter for Milwaukee, 7-8 record, 4.46 ERA. First pitch is at 8:10 Eastern Time from American Family Field in Milwaukee. This game is televised on AT&T Sportsnet Rocky Mountain and Bally Sports Wisconsin. All right, and that brings us to our West Coast games. At 9:38 p.m. Eastern Time, the 61-51 San Francisco Giants battle the 56-57 Los Angeles Angels. The latter is trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. Logan Webb is the projected starter for San Francisco. The right-hander is 9-9 with a 3.45 ERA. His mound opponent is Angels left-hander Patrick Sandoval, 6-8 at a 4.11 ERA. First pitch is at 9:38 p.m. Eastern Time from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and this game will be televised by NBC Sports Bay Area and Bally Sports West. The final game of the night gets underway 2 minutes later at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time. The 66-46 Texas Rangers venturing out to the Bay to face the 32-80 Oakland Athletics. Dane Dunning is the starter for Texas. The right-hander is 9-4 with a 3.14 ERA. The A's will send left-hander Ken Waldachuk to the mound, 2-7 record, 6.52 ERA. First pitch is at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time from the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland. And this game will be broadcast on Bally Sports Southwest and NBC Sports California. And that is that, folks. The Sunday recap, your Monday preview, plus a check of the standings and the playoff races across Major League Baseball. Now, I have given this some thought. I will be back on Friday with another standings check, and then we'll recap all the games that were played during the week, and then we'll update the playoff standings and the playoff races and the MLB standings, and then we'll take a look at the Friday schedule. So we'll be doing this now Mondays and Fridays, so be on the lookout. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoyed the baseball action this week. Peace out.